Ordinary average guy podcast show. Whoa. Hey, everybody, it's the Ordinary Average Guy podcast show starring, that's right, you heard that correct, starring J. Ken, coming to you previously recorded from the Bucks Day Hootie Studios. All right, we are on podcast number. Are you ready for this? We are on podcast number 7. John Elway, Michael Vick. Oh, man, I'm sure there's some other ones too. I can't think of off the top of my head because I did not prepare. Anyway, we have a good episode this week for you fellas and ladies. So topic of the week, do not be afraid. It's politics. That's right. And not only is it politics, but we have politics and also the history of the Titanic. That is correct. Politics and the Titanic. We have a guest. Yes, you heard that right. We have a guest this week. First time on this show that we have an interview with a gentleman who is a very, very up to speed with politics, I guess you could say. And he's also a Titanic historian. So through conversation, just some things came up, politics and the Titanic. And I really hope you guys enjoy this. All right, this is Jay Ken here. We have a special guest today on the Ordinary Average Guy podcast show. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like you all to give us a warm welcome. Thank you, to my good buddy, MJ.
Hello.
How's everything going, MJ?
Good, very good.
Good, very good. All right. So you told me that you wanted to talk on the show here. What did you want to talk about?
The White House.
The White House. Now, are you into politics?
What does into politics mean?
Politics, like the president and the senators and everyone in Washington. Do you know are you into that kind of stuff?
Yeah, but just one question.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite president?
Who's my favorite president?
Yeah.
It's a toss-up between Abraham Lincoln and Theodore Roosevelt.
No, who's Theodore Roosevelt?
Theodore Roosevelt was a president in the early 1900s, and he was kind of a big fat guy. But he also liked hunting and fishing, and he liked to go camping. He was real into wildlife, and he was a cool guy.
But who's that other guy?
Abraham Lincoln?
Yeah.
He was the 16th president of the United States, and he freed the slaves.
What is freed the... Who freed the slaves?
Abraham Lincoln.
Why did he free the slaves from what?
Well, that we can talk about that some other time.
Okay.
Who's your favorite president?
George Washington.
George Washington. Now, what was special about him?
Well, I just let him because Papa Jim, had a thing a white with a feather, and you didn't have to make it with old because you just had the special pen and you could take it off and put it on a feather.
So, George Washington used a pen that had a feather on it?
It was a feather.
A feather.
And you have to use oat to make it.
Oat? Oak.
Yeah.
Oh, the wood, it was oak. So it was, let me get this straight. So George Washington, the reason he's your favorite president is because he used a feather as a pen? make sure you talk into the microphone.
Okay.
So George Washington was your favorite president because he used a feather as a pen?
Yeah.
Well, that's a good idea. That's a I never thought about that maybe wonder what other kind of that there was a president that was so fat that he got stuck in a bathtub.
Who got stuck in the bathtub?
I would have to look it up. Boy,
Did
Taft.
he ever get out?
Oh yeah, they got him out. They had to use a crowbar.
What's a crowbar?
It's a thing you use to get things unstuck.
Ow.
I think his name was Taft. I think it was William Taft. I'm not sure. We might have to go look at our book of presidents. I don't know if that would be in there though. What's your other thing about? So you're fascinated with Washington D.C. What's your favorite thing about Washington D.C.?
Well, I like the White House, and I like the part where they had the war. And when the war was finished, they kept the building. And I like the part where the cemetery is for armies.
Oh, the cemetery for all the fallen soldiers.
Yeah.
Well, that's a very nice thing to like.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that's in Washington D.C. that you like?
Well, the White House. I think there's a lot of stores.
You think there's a lot of stores in
How
Washington?
big is Washington D.C.?
How big?
Yeah.
I think it's pretty big. I'm pretty sure there's probably. I would think there's probably maybe 1,000,000 people. Maybe not quite. Maybe just a couple 100,000.
What's 100,000?
100. It's a big number. It's 1,000 with 100 in front of it. So 100. So 1,000 times 100.
Is it bigger than infinity?
No, infinity is the largest number.
But there's also a number that's bigger than infinity.
There's a number that's bigger than infinity?
Yeah.
What is that?
Well, you say it all the time. It's doodle.
I say it all the time?
Yeah, when you doodle stuff.
When I doodle stuff?
Doodle.
Google.
Yeah.
When I Google stuff, I say it? What is it?
Huh?
Oh, we have another special visitor here.
A
Huh?
doodle.
A goggle? That's the largest number in the world? I never heard of that in my life. Goggle? I don't have my encyclopedia. So goggle is the largest number in the world.
Yeah, even larger than infinity.
I didn't know. I thought infinity was the largest. Well, anyway, we got to talk about Washington, D.C., and we got to talk about politics. Buddy, now if you can, I don't know if I asked you this or not, I forget, but how old are you?
5.
Say that one more time.
5.
5?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're 5 years old. So, what do you think about what's going on today in America?
Well, there's a lot of people shooting other people in the malls.
Wait, what? What did you say? There's what?
There's a lot of people shooting other people in the malls.
Oh.
Because I heard the news and they said that. And there's also a blade that hit it a little gas station.
Oh, what hit a gas station?
A blade.
A blade?
Yeah, he was big. Not too big.
Do you think you should be watching the news?
Yeah.
Is there anything good on the news? Anything funny?
I don't know.
Who do you watch the news with?
All of you guys.
I don't watch the news.
Why?
Because the news is bunch of nonsense.
Okay.
Who are you gonna vote for in the presidential election?
What did you say?
Who are you gonna vote for in the presidential election?
That's a hard one.
That is a hard one. A lot of Americans are struggling with that question. As a matter of fact. So, do you know who's running for president?
No.
So there's a guy named Joe Biden.
Hold on. I know the guy that's trying to be that president again.
Who's that?
Maybe you're talking about, is it Abraham Lincoln?
No, Abraham Lincoln's not running for president.
Oh.
He should, though. That'd be cool if he could.
Yeah.
No,
And I saw a statue on a bench.
Oh, are you talking about the statue of Abraham Lincoln sitting on a bench?
No, he was like sitting on a bench laid by a ice rink. But there was actually, there's some a wall place, but the old seats were not open.
Are you talking about in Nina? Did Mom take you to Nina today?
Yeah.
And you saw that statue on the bench?
Yeah.
And that's Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah.
Pretty good looking man, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked how his hair was.
Oh.
But did he already die?
Yeah, unfortunately he passed away.
Oh.
Yeah, he's very old though. He was in the 1800s.
Okay. Is that when Titanic sank?
The Titanic sunk in the early 1900s, like 1910, I want to say, something like that.
That even longer?
So 1910 so Abraham Lincoln died before the Titanic sunk. That's another thing. You're a big Titanic fan, aren't you?
Yes.
Now, how do you like the Titanic so much?
Well, my grandma just told me, but I don't know how we started talking about that.
Oh, so your grandma was talking to you about the Titanic?
Yeah, Mrs.
Oh, okay. And that's her nickname, huh? MJ? Mrs., that's her nickname?
Yeah.
That's your grandma's nickname is Mrs.?
Yeah.
How'd you come up with that name?
Just did. And my other, and your mom's name, I told her Butter.
Butter. So anyway, so the Titanic, what is fascinating about the Titanic? Do you know a lot about the Titanic?
Yeah.
Well, can you share with us about the Titanic?
Yeah, but I don't know a lot of stuff.
Well, tell us what you know.
Okay. Make sure you don't have your kids around here because there's a lot of kissing and a lot of swear words. I don't say swear words, so you can have your kids a little bit there.
Wait. Did you say there's a lot of kissing and a lot of swear words?
Yeah, but I'm not going to say the swear words. I'm just going to say, like, the iceberg and stuff.
Okay. Where did you get the swear words from?
I watched a clip of it, and Smith, he was the captain.
Smith was the captain?
Yeah, and he probably said the F word. What's the F word?
Okay, so sorry, we got technical difficulties. So anyway, the Smith was the captain of the boat?
Yeah.
And so you just assume that he maybe said some naughty words?
Yeah. Yeah, and you're not in the talk about it, and I'm not.
I'm not, yeah. We don't say naughty words on this
and
podcast.
This guy right here says a lot of swear words. Stop saying swear words, buddy.
Okay. All right, hey, we got off track here. We got to talk about politics. Now, politics are the people that we vote into office.
Hold on, but can we just talk about the iceberg first?
Okay, yeah. So anyway, what about the iceberg? What happened with the iceberg?
So they, built it too soon. They built it in the wrong season.
They built the ship in the wrong season?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then there's the iceberg. That is a massive piece of ice. But this iceberg, that was super big.
Oh, so this iceberg was even bigger than a normal iceberg?
Yeah.
Okay, so what happened? Did the Titanic, what happened?
So when I hit the iceberg, he actually came awake, and they
Wait, the captain was sleeping?
Yeah, Smith. And then he woke up when they were almost done hit the iceberg, and they actually missed the iceberg, but they got a scrape in the inside of the water.
Oh, so they almost missed it, but then they just got a little scrape?
Here's a big strip.
Oh, okay. So, I mean, what's the big deal about a big scrape? I mean, what happened?
And then after today on this very first year, that ship and that ship is already wheat and that ship all had a chef and he didn't have a lifeboat.
The chef didn't have a lifeboat?
Yeah, but so he threw a chair and this thing chairs can float and he told out for a lifeboat, so he was still alive, but to this day he's dead already.
Oh, yeah, because he's probably pretty old, huh?
Yeah.
So, okay, now that we talked about the iceberg, we're almost done with our podcast, so let's just wrap up with who you're going to vote for, or who you want to vote for. Who do you want to win the election? Who do you want to be the president?
If his name is Tom, then
If
I won't let him be the president.
if his name is Tom, you will not let him be president?
Yeah.
So you don't care about what they believe in. You don't care about their background. The only thing that matters to you is that they are not named Tom. Come on.
Well, actually, like
Why don't you
I
like
think there's like a movie theater in there.
a movie
And I
theater?
think there's like a pool, a hot tub, a pool, a hot tub, a pool, a hot tub, a pool, a hot tub.
Where?
A
Where?
pool,
Wait,
a
where?
hot tub, a pool, a hot tub.
All right, where is this? All these pools and hot tubs
In the backyard of the White House.
in the backyard of the White House.
And these other people came to put like a house on fire. It was a big house. And they put the house on fire.
Oh, you're talking about years ago when there was. Oh, okay. So there was a war in the 1800s, and they burned down the White House.
Yeah, but that was a different kind of war.
Oh, okay.
And I think that president's daughter, this happened a long time ago, and she didn't play the big piano, and then she got startled when her piano fell down.
She got startled?
The floor fell down.
Oh, wow. Okay, so MJ, we are going to call it quits now, okay? And just to recap, you are a expert on the Titanic,
Thanks.
right? You know everything about the Titanic, right?
Yeah.
You gotta talk a little louder, buddy.
I just like to talk in my real cool voice.
In your real cool voice?
Yeah.
You do have a cool voice, I will say that. So you're an expert on the maybe we'll have you back on someday. We can talk more about the Titanic and talk more about Washington, D.C. and the White House.
Okay.
Would you like that?
Yeah.
And as long as the person isn't named Tom, you think they would make a good president?
Yeah.
Now, why don't you like people, or why don't you like, but why do you think that a person named Tom wouldn't make a good president? You haven't answered that.
I just don't know.
Okay, well, there you go.
I don't know that he will make any, like, good laws.
Oh, you might not make any good laws?
Yeah.
Okay, I got you. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, that was my interview with my political correspondent and Titanic historian. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for MJ. Will you be back on the show?
No.
Yeah?
But
All
in
right.
a couple minutes.
All right. You want to say bye to our audience?
Oh, sure.
See you later.
See you later, alligator.
All right. After a while, crocodile. Well, that was fantastic. I hope you enjoyed that conversation I had with MJ. Very insightful, I thought. I really appreciate what he thinks is what makes a good candidate for the president of the United States. And I agree. Certain writing utensils, I judge people by the writing utensils that they use. And, um, and you know, um, I don't agree. I don't agree with, I don't mind people named Tom. I just want that to be, I don't want to be known, I don't want this podcast to be known as Tom haters. Okay. I disagree with his stance on that. But you know what? To each their own. Um, well, anyway, now that we did that, I do want to chat about this past weekend. What a wonderful weekend for Memorial Day. Um, well, I should say one day. One day was nice. Sad Sunday. Sunday. Yeah, was it Sunday? Was a beautiful day. Sun was shining. Radios was blaring. Um, we had some drinks. We had the grill going. We also did some work this weekend, cutting wood, making making firewood, splitting logs. It was a good time. It was a fantastic time, and I hope you guys all had a good time as well on your Memorial Day weekend. Um, Now, what we're going to get into next is I did get a couple of emails and messages that I want to get to, and one of them that I received actually it's fitting for Memorial Day weekend, I would say, because it has to do with, well, so one of the things that I did this Memorial Day weekend, it's kind of funny that I got this message because one of the things that I do Memorial Day weekend is have, I do it quite often, is have bonfires. And I got a message here from Ben, who has he would like my opinion. Ben says, I would like your opinion on what is the correct and best way to build and start a campfire or bonfire. Yeah, one. Some people say campfire, some people say bonfire. How do you set up your wood? Do you use any kind of paper or lighter fluid or gas? That's a good question. There's a lot of people, I would say, growing up that have a lot of pride in building a bonfire, a nice bonfire at that, and then they say, hey, I didn't use gas on this. There's no gas. There's no lighter fluid. There isn't any of that. I will say that I don't. I mean, it all depends. If the wood is dry, you really shouldn't have a problem starting a bonfire. I mean, and I'm kind of talking like I know what I'm talking about. It's because I do. I'm ordinary and average in a lot of areas, but when it comes to building bonfires, I kind of am really good at it. Back in the day, I used to have bonfires they're still talked about to this day. I'm talking bonfires that you go in the front yard and you would see the flames over the house. I'm talking just terrific bonfires, and in a lot of those cases, gas was involved. Safety, be careful with gas. You want to leave it to like a person like me, a trained professional. Well, when it comes to bonfires, I will say that. See, now I have a pretty killer backyard. Not to toot my own horn, but I do have a pretty killer backyard. I put a lot of work and effort into it. But one of the areas that does lack is I just have like this fireplace that I bought off of, I want to say like Home Depot or something like that, and it's small, so I can't really get a roaring fire going. This past weekend I had a roaring fire going. Um, but what I'm getting at is that I can't just dump a bunch of gasoline on it because, well, I mean, quite frankly, it would be, especially when you got little kids walking around. I mean, it is kind of dangerous. So what I do is I keep all my wood under a tarp, and then I have kindling. kindling is very important if you want to have a good bonfire. You want to have kindling, and you also want to have, not much, but just a little bit of like a newspaper, preferably. Um, Now, when it comes to stacking the wood, I believe that you should go. I'm a firm believer in this. You go log cabin. So not a lot of people when you're starting out in building campfires. A lot of people will tell you to build a I don't know, TP. I don't know if you can say that. I think, well, I don't know why you can't. That's what it is, TP. So you build a TP, where you put your kindling and you put your newspaper and stuff inside the TP. But I'll be honest with you, I'm not a fan of that. I feel like to more often than not, it falls over on you. So this isn't revolutionary by any means, but if you build a log cabin like out of Lincoln logs, you do that with your logs, and you put your stuff inside the log cabin. I feel that takes off a lot quicker, and you shouldn't need gasoline. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't use gasoline. I'm just saying because it is fun, but you do need to be safe. Now, that being said, I have gotten to the point in my life where I just I sometimes you just want a fire. All right, you just want a fire and you want to get it going. So I went out and bought a propane torch, the blue propane torch that you press the button and that goes. I'm done with the days of the lighter, done with it. The days of matches, done with it. Go get yourself a nice propane lighter. And what you can do then too is you can just kind of keep it on the kindling a little longer. Now, is that cheating? Yeah, if you talk to a Boy Scout or whatever, it's cheating. But you know what? At the end of the day, you want to have a bonfire. You want to have a good time. You don't want to, we're past that. Look at my bonfire that I created with 2 sticks. Blah, blah, blah. Enough of that. So, and then if you have wet wood, I actually went on and bought like everyone has a 20-pound propane tank or whatever. Go out and buy a hog torch. Hook that bad boy up. Get that going. If your wood's a little wet, that'll dry it up pretty good. So now, when the fire is going, and you're in a pit, and you have a decent fire going, then, and this is kind of a safety thing too, I then do the TP like after the fire has been established. Then I put the wood in a TP fashion that they lay up against the original log cabin. And then you get the flames go up the teepee. So it's kind of like I'm kind of doing like a hybrid bonfire, if you will. And then, after an hour or two and you have just a roaring fire, then you can kind of get lazy with it and you can just throw wood in. So is there a right or wrong way? Depends on who you ask. If you ask a traditionalist, they're not going to want you to use, propane torch. They're not going to want you to use that. They're too good for that. But I do believe heavily in the log cabin into the TP. And then I also believe in, and another little trick. And I never knew this, or maybe I just never thought of it, but we were over at my father and mother-in-law's, and then I was talking to my dad, and he says he does this too, even though I never saw it. But take gasoline and take diesel fuel, mix it together. And what my father-in-law did, he actually had it in a spray bottle, and then that way you can just spray it. You don't have to dump it. You don't have to get too close to the fire. You can just kind of spray it. And the thing about the diesel fuel is it ignites, but the diesel fuel, it doesn't ignite as rapidly. It actually is a nice slow burn, and it also seems like it stays on, it doesn't go out as fast. So if you do want to go that route, think about the diesel fuel / gasoline trick. I'm so happy you sent that email because if there's one thing I'm passionate about, it's a nice bonfire. this so we have another message here that we'll get to. This one comes from, and now we're going with nicknames. This guy does not have his name. He just has a nickname, and it's his nickname is Dick Scratch. Oh, I wonder if there's a story behind that one. Um, hey, Jay Ken, I'd like to hear your thoughts on man caves. Is that something every man should have or be entitled to? Is it something that's overrated and simply something that a man does? A man. Okay, hold on a sec. Here's spell check going on here. Is it something that's overrated and simply something a man does to stick it to his wife because she doesn't put out as much as she used to? Um, well, that's a that's a very good question. There is, I will say that I think there is something to that. Maybe not spoken out loud, but maybe subconscious. Where you've been in a marriage for quite a while. The honeymoon phase is over, and you know your wife is watching The Bachelor or some bullshit, and you know those sweatpants are tied on tight. So what does a guy do? Has to find something to do. So he spends time in a man cave. So I think there might be something to that, and it's funny that Dick Scratch said that. Entitled, yes, I will. I am. I do believe that a man should be entitled to a. I'll put it this way. I think a man should be entitled to his space. Okay, um, let's not let's let's call the spade a spade. All right, the house. If you're married, if you're in a heterosexual relationship, and a man is married to a woman, the house is the woman's. Okay, you look at the landscaping. Okay, that has woman all over it. The kitchen, the living room, the bedroom. Everything is the woman's. The woman has the house, okay, and she allows the man to live there, more or less. I mean, in my own loving marriage, I there's nothing in this house that says Jay Ken. Not literally says Jay Ken. I'm just my Bush Light poster is not hanging up on the wall. You know what I mean? I would love to have some jet ski poster with some chick in a swimsuit in the bedroom, like in the old days, but that's not the case. So, so I do believe that a man is entitled to a space. Now, in recent years, that space has been called the man cave, and it's exactly kind of what you. If you ever watch the movie, oh man, I'm just thinking this now. It's with Vince Vaughn, Ben Stiller, Jonah Hill, I think, is in it. It's basically The Watch. It's called Night Watch or The Watch. It's like where they're fighting aliens, and it's actually very funny. I would recommend it. Um, Vince Vaughn has like a man cave in that movie. That's like your stereotypical man cave. You got a pool table, you got a TV, big TV. You got a nice couch, lazy boy. You got a bar, all that stuff. That's your typical, stereotypical man cave. Um, which is awesome, which is great. I do not have that. I'll be honest. I have the Bucks Duty Studios, which I'm very surprised. I am not under an inch of water, 2 inches of water with all the rain we've been getting down here in the Bucks Duty Studios. Shout out to the builders who built the house. And yeah, it's a little chilly down here. Anyway, I have the Bucks Duty Studios, which is nothing special. But I personally, my quote unquote man cave would be the garage. Now that's kind of way I'm wired or whatever. My man cave is the garage. So when we bought this house, I told my wife, I said, hey, listen here. Listen here. The garage, and when I say garage, I mean like the corner of the garage. Because the garage is, to her, it's for toys, the van, um, stuff like that. But I said, this corner of the garage is mine. I do what I want with it. And that's kind of where I keep my woodworking tools and stuff like that. Do I spend a lot of time out there? Unfortunately, not with the kids and stuff like that. But, and even the Buxty Hootie Studios. I mean, I'm only down here for 50 minutes a week. So, but you still need a space. I really do believe that. I think a man needs and I'm not trying to get all like pro guy here, because God forbid if we ever say anything good about men. But I will say, yeah, I think, to keep their cool, and that they need a space that's theirs. Otherwise we'll just shrivel up and die inside. So yes, Dick Scratch, I do believe that everyone needs a man. I'm just gonna say space, because I personally, someday maybe I'll have a man cave. I personally don't need that. I have my space in the garage. That's kind of how I am, though, or whatever. So I used to have a man, well, it wasn't even a man cave too. It was a basement, and I put the pool table down there. But it was never really a man cave. I mean, I always spent time down there with my wife, and I never got. When I build a house someday, though, I did tell my wife. I said, we build a house someday, this is my dream. I want a den, a good old fashioned den, right, with a fireplace, TV, couch, that all that stuff. But kind of like a think. I'm going old school here again. Guys, I'm an old soul. All right, I'm an old soul. I'm going old school here. But think of like, I'm not going old school at all. Think Bernie Mac, the Bernie Mac show. Remember Bernie Mac? Let me tell you something, America. When he would always do his little interview there in that room. And that was like his den. I guess, man cave is like in a basement. That's why it's a cave. I want a den. That's my dream, I guess. But I also have a pool table that is not put together. It's in storage right now. So I need you know what? I don't know. I'm going to have someday, my goal, I'm going to have a den, a man cave, and obviously, and then I want a shed, not just a spot in the garage, but like a legit shed, a big one. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. One can dream. Okay, next up on the list, we're going to talk unordinary opinion. Unordinary. He's a guy, he's got an unordinary opinion. Some people think it's dumb, but he thinks it's cool. He thinks it's some things he thinks are dumb, other people think are cool. It's unordinary opinion with Jay Ken. All right, this one's going to be short and sweet. I think this is one of those things where I never knew it was an unordinary opinion. I'm not sure if I am in I'm not sure if I'm in the majority or not, but it's just kind of a thought that I want to throw out there. If my mom has a sister, what is that person to me? Now you're probably wondering, what? If my mom has a sister, what is that person to me? Now, the word is spelled A-U-N-T. She is my aunt. Okay? Enough said. Done. Conversation over. If you call her an aunt, you're wrong. You're wrong. Case closed. That is not how the English language works. If when you flaunt, I'm flaunting. F-L-A-U-N-T. Flaunt. You don't flant. I'm flanting. You flaunt it. If you got it, you flaunt it. If your mom has a sister, you have an aunt, not an aunt. I where I come from, so I come from more of a rural area, if you will. And I remember when I married my wife, who's a big city slicker, all of her friends are like, they literally are like making fun of me because they say aunt. They're like, where are you from? Blah, blah. And it's that whole like, oh, you must be from Wisconsin because you don't know how to talk, you dumb son of a bitch. And it's like, no, 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 no. If there's one word I do say right, it's aunt. So that's the unordinary opinion this week, which really shouldn't be an unordinary opinion. That should just be the way of life. But I feel like we got to get the word out there. It is aunt, not aunt. And that is this week's Unordinary Opinion with J. Ken, brought to you by Dry Basements. Okay. All right. Well, on that note, we're going to leave you with the song of the week. That is correct. Are you excited about this one? Now, this is a song that I did not have on. I mean, I like the song. Don't get me wrong. That's why it's song of the week. But I hate to say it, I kind of forgot about it until this past weekend. We were from Memorial Day weekend. My mom, dad watched the kids, and me and my siblings and the in-laws went out to the bars, which that's a whole other story. Yikes. But we went out to the bars, and all of a sudden I heard the song on the jukebox, and I just could not believe that I kind of forgot about it because there was a time where I loved the song. I loved it. Now, this isn't some well, I don't know. It's a cool song. It has a cool little catchy tune to it. It's catchy. It's cool, and I promise you probably never heard it. And I'm telling you, it's got to be played on the radio more often. If you're a disc jockey and you're listening to this and you are on a classic rock station, you got to play this song more often. Interesting enough, this artist is from Canada, the first Canadian artist on the list that I believe. And no, it's not Rush. Rush is my favorite band, and it's not Rush. It's not Neil Young. It is Kim Mitchell. Now you're probably sitting there thinking, who in the hell is Kim Mitchell? This is a guy from the 80s. This is 80s music, okay? But it's not like 80s hair metal at all. It's just like, I don't know how to explain it. And it's not weird at all. It actually is a really, really fun song. And if you listen to it, you will be jamming out to it in your car. Windows down, radio up, yo. Kim Mitchell, Go for Soda. And when I read the lyrics, I feel like it's one of these songs like, hey, you don't have to drink to have fun. Well, we all know that that's not true. And, don't do drugs, something like that. Like, just drink a soda, dude. That's essentially what I get out of it. Just drink a soda, man. And it is a fun song to listen to, especially when you're drinking a cold beer. So do yourself a favor, okay? Listen to Kim Mitchell, Go for Soda. And that is this week's Song of the Week. All right, man, I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. Got out a little late. I apologize about that. Hope you all had a great Memorial Day weekend, and we will catch you next week. See you later. Peace.